Guys, and welcome back to the Pushed Envelope TV. We're gonna be talking about some more wine today. I wanted to go over something really basic with wine, but to give a little bit more light to those of us who don't really know what we're doing when we taste wine. So I wanted to go over opening one of my favorite bottles of wine. This is just, I feel like an everyday wine. It's less than $20 a bottle. I'm a big red fan. This is a delicious Zinfandel from California. It's domestic, it's not too expensive, and I don't feel bad drinking it midweek with whatever I want to eat. So today I wanted to go over the most basic thing we need to do to drink wine, besides buying it, and that's opening wine and tasting it. Tasting is part of the experience of wine, the sensory experience part of it, and on a more practical side, we taste wine to make sure that it is not corked, aka it hasn't turned into vinegar, and the wine is not bad. So we taste them in restaurants to make sure that the wine is not bad. It's what we're expecting. I personally wouldn't send back a bottle of wine unless it was corked or just really not what the person who sold it to me said it was. If I set an expectation and we agreed on something, but if I pick something off of the list without any assistance and it was my own choosing, I'm not gonna send it back because I feel like it's bad manners. That's my personal feeling. So let's start with how I open my wine. Now this is what I do at home. This is not wine service or anything of that sort. I like to use one of these two tools. This is an electronic wine opener. It's very handy. This is a server wine key from Beacon Wines. I actually like to use a combination of these two things at home because this comes with a little foil cutter. So the top of every bottle of wine, well not every bottle, a lot of bottles of wine have foil on them. I could just pull this off, but I'm not at work. And when I'm at home, sometimes I like to keep it at least a little bit classy. So I don't like the trouble of the foil being jagged around the edges. And this serrated knife, if you look at this knife, it's serrated on the ends. It's not a smooth cut, and it could leave the edge of the lip looking a little rough. So you're not supposed to cut on the first lip, you're supposed to cut on the second. I'm gonna go midway down the second because this is not that deep. So the first part of opening, oh, actually it won't go to the second lip, but will it? Oh no. Let's see what we can do. All right, I got it off. So I could have done that sitting it up and just twisting one side, twisting the other side. The foil comes right off. It's at the first lip. You're supposed to cut off at the second lip when you're opening wine, but this is how I do it at home. And if you're at home, there's really not more you need to do, even if you have guests. So the second part of this, sitting down doing this is not great. I will admit to that technicality. So I just hold the bottle like I usually would, and I'm going to use the corkscrew for the second half. So basic corkscrew. I usually screw it all the way in until about this much is left on the corkscrew, and because it has two knuckles, when I have to screw it back to get it to the front, I always screw to unscrew, not to screw in deeper. This is a double knuckle, so this little piece here, boop, boop, that helps me get the wine out in two pulls. So first knuckle, one, second knuckle, two, and I'm not gonna pull it out with the key by itself right now because I'm used to wine service, and in wine service, you don't wanna make a pop. And just in general, if you wanna use proper wine etiquette for opening a bottle, you don't want the cork to pop out and go bloop. You want it to be very quiet. So I'm going to pull it out and let the air come out of one side, and all you hear is a psst, which is a lot less offensive, I guess. Not really offensive, it's just quieter. So this is St. Francis Zinfandel from Sonoma County. It's an old vines Zinfandel. If you're interested in what old vines are, Vivino has a great article on the trend and the popping up of the name old vine. Now let's get into the actual tasting process. You want to pour just about 1.5 ounces of wine. That's beautiful. Did not mean to ding. I'm just gonna wipe the lip a little bit. Now I put out 2 different glasses. And I'm gonna pour a taste in this one in just a moment, but I wanna smell them side by side and see the effect of tasting one wine in 2 different glasswares. So glassware can have a really big effect. This wine is really bold and very interesting and has a lot to offer on the nose and the palate. I've tasted it many times before. And I find that I used to drink it in this. I used to drink all my wine out of my Olivia Pope glass because I love it and it's fabulous and it's so delicate and pretty, and I got it from Crate & Barrel. This, I think I got this from Crate & Barrel as well. They were back ordered on these, and I needed wineware. Oh, I need glassware. I apologize. I needed glassware, so I got this from Crate & Barrel. I just broke the other one before I started shooting this video, so now I only have one of these left. Great. So yes, the difference in glassware can make a difference in the experience of wine. For example, a lot of us drink or serve or are served champagne in a flute. And I personally believe that champagne doesn't belong in a flute. I've been influenced by 2 people. One guest that I served in a restaurant who asked for his Krug in a regular all-purpose glass, and a representative from Krug that I spoke with at one of my restaurants who also asked that we taste the Krug Grand Cuvée in an all-purpose glass, or a glass that would give it more air. A flute is going to be narrow, regular wine stem, but there's not a lot that can be expressed in the glass as far as the sensory experience. You're not going to lose any of the bubbles tasting champagne in an all-purpose glass or a wider glass, and you'll probably like it better. You get more of the smell of it, more of the aroma and the sensory experience of the wine. I'm also going to pour an ounce in here. The first step in tasting wine is definitely going to be to look at the color. You want to look at it up against a white surface. I'm going to see if I can hold this up against the camera. So I'll give a white surface, and so that is the color of the wine. I would say this is a deep ruby, looks like a dark cherry skin in color. And it looks the same in both glasses. In wine, you also want to look for rim variation. You want to look for legs on the rim of the glass. For this, you have to swish it around so intensely to get to see whether or not the legs are going to fall, because the bowl is so big. With this, you get more of a traditional wine swirl. I could have polished these glasses a little bit more. Now, I know a lot about this wine already, so I'm just gonna go through. I already know that some slow legs will develop on the edge of the glass for these. This one is starting to do it more so already. Can I see it on here? Oh yeah, they're very slow, very thick legs on this. It has a higher ABV. I think it's about 14.5 if it hasn't changed. Oh my God. It is 15.2 ABV. That's pretty high for wine. So visually, it's a deep red color. There's not very much rim variation. You don't see like a clear rim all around. So that does indicate that the wine is not very old. This is a 2013. Oh my God, it's already 3 years old. Gosh, 2013 is so far away. That's crazy. So 3 years old, this wine. Old vines. Swish it around in the glass to see how it catches the sides of the glass, what color it is, if you can see through it. Now I'm going to smell. So the first step is to look at the color, look at it in the glass, check out the legs, look at the rim variation, and the next step is to smell. Now, one tip for smelling is to, if you first smell alcohol only, especially on something like this where the alcohol is higher and it's a red wine, you can blow into the glass to kind of blow that rim of gases off, and then smell again. Also smell with your mouth open through your nose. And you don't have to shove your entire face into there, but you want to get it close enough. You don't need to necessarily do this, especially not with your mouth in there. Just smell through your nose with your mouth open. This wine smells like cherries, a little bit of eucalyptus. This has a very rich smell. It's indicative of it being very rich on the palate as well. Now I want to smell this one next to this one and see if I get as much in the glass. wow, I can't even swish this because the bowl is so big. See, on this side, I just get cherry, which is super generic. I smell a lot less. I smell like cherry, cigar box, vanilla on here. And I got cigar box, vanilla, and cherry on this, but it smells a little bit more foresty, a lot more rich. So this would help it open up, but not as far as smell goes. It would just like let a lot of air into the wine and you not be able to experience the scent part of it when you taste. So the next part of tasting is the actual tasting. I like to think of tasting wine as not only tasting for flavor, but actually another sensory experience as far as feeling. When you taste, you don't want to just get flavor, you want to have a mouthfeel. You want to understand you want to acknowledge and identify the sensory experience that's going on in your mouth, the sensation, whether it be puckering or whether it be something that's making you drool a lot, if it's making you scratch up your face, whatever it may be. So I'm going to taste this wine. Another way to get it all over your mouth, first of all, if it's your first time tasting wine for the day or any alcohol, you definitely want to kind of take more seriously the second taste because your mouth is adjusting to having alcohol, especially for something that's high in alcohol like this, 15.2% ABV. So I'll just give this a swish around my mouth, kind of like just to put it all over my palate and wake it up. So that was my first taste of alcohol for the day. Wow, it's 3 o'clock. How late? And now I'm actually going to give this a taste. This wine is delicious. It is super acidic and tannic. Tannins are what the sensation that we get in our mouth, that pucker, and it comes from the wine being in contact with the skins for longer. So all the skins and the stems and the outside of the grape and not just the flesh of the grape. And it pairs really well with burgers and grilled food and super tannic. You get the cherry and the berries and the vanilla. There's like a great raspberry note. It's super aromatic, very acidic. It can go with some really bold foods. I'm a crazy person. I like really, really bold wines and I will drink them by themselves because I love the experience of it. I'm gonna see if this actually tastes a little different in a different piece of glassware. It does. Maybe it's because of my second taste. Let me see. This tastes, I don't know how to describe it. I want to say it tastes a little bit more punchy, but I also want to make sure that it's not a placebo effect. So I would recommend that everyone, cheers, try on their own. Try to use a different piece of glassware. Try something very thin, not cheap dollar store glass. I mean, you can find some good glasses in the dollar store, but try to make sure it's thinner glass. Don't leave dish detergent in them. It can ruin the taste of the wine. Polishing them up and rinse them off before you use them, better than I've polished these probably, would be a good idea. And see if there's a difference in how you experience a wine that you're familiar with, trying it in a new piece of glassware. There's no glassware company sponsoring this video, so I just want to let you know that this is just my personal knowledge and opinion. Putting wine in a proper glass for the experience does make a difference. So I will be drinking out of my Olivia Pope glass when I feel like it because this is my house, okay? And I can do whatever I want. But I'm sure if I get a very nice bottle of wine, I'll be pouring it in the proper glassware and I'll probably be drinking this out of this glass. So, recap, tasting wine, you're going to open, of course. You're going to visually evaluate the wine. You're going to smell it. You're going to taste it and make sure that it's not just vinegar and that it's actually sound. And that is it. So see, smell, taste. It's pretty much the gist of it. So you guys let me know if you have any questions, if you're learning from this, if you want to know more about wine, if there's anything really basic that you want to know about wine. Just really simple things that our ritual that you may not understand that have a practical meaning, or maybe don't have a practical meaning and are just ritual. Any questions about finding wines or types of wine for parties? I'm coming up with a ton of ideas on camera right now, and I should probably be brainstorming off camera. I'll let you all take care of that in the comment section below. If you're interested in this wine, it's one of my personal favorites. It is a St. Francis Old Vine Zinfandel from Sonoma County. This is a 2013. It also has like some really good tasting notes and info about the wine on the back label here as well. This wine opener is from Oster. It also works, I didn't even show you guys how the rest of this works. The clip on the back cuts the foil, and there's a corkscrew in here. That's electronic, okay? That's amazing. And I just did it on this charging dock, and it charges probably for about 10 uses when it's fully charged. My wine key is from Beacon Wines here in New York City on the Upper West Side, right next door to the Beacon Theater. These wine glasses are both from Crate and Barrel. This is the, I always forget the name of this. I think it's the Camille glass. And this is just some all-purpose glass that I picked up. So yeah, until next time, cheers. I would like to cheers right now to Solange's new album and to Ava DuVernay opening the New York Film Festival with her documentary, The 13th, which I'm going to see tonight. And toast to that, cheers to that. I hope to see you all next time.